Mate, you're in a bit of a mood today.
Yeah, just a bit hot and bothered. You know, on this fine and sunny Queensland November evening, just a bit hot under the collar, some frustration. I feel like I've come through the other side of a really big spring carnival. I've just been served up a little bit of dross. Some quality, but a little bit of dross. You have to find out more on the podcast, Drifters.
Well, as a form analyst, mate, you got to overcome that. So if you're doing the form this weekend and deciding to have a bet, where would you do something like that?
Obviously, with the good people at Ned's, you can do everything you want with the good people at Ned's. There's also the profiles. Both Hutcho and I share our tips on there. If you want to follow us in, just check out our profiles. It's the best way to do it. Also, if you want to, broaden your horizons a little bit and have a broader discussion about horse racing, check out the Ned's YouTube channel.
But what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Mr. Brightside spins them off and wins again. Zardozi wins the Oaks for J-Mac. The photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior. The mare's going. Great guns. Fangirl. Look at her go. Fangirl. Imperatrice has got her. And raced on by Imperatrice by a length. Overpass. More Baker's Delight in Perth. Radina just won it, I'd say. Tom Ketton won the spring champion in a cakewalk. Without a fight won the Caulfield Cup.
Well, Rupert Clark, 1,000 Guineas. What were your thoughts on yesterday's racing?
Oh, mixed. Look, I thought it was a, pretty underwhelming day of racing. Mm-hmm. But I get, actually, Matty Hill put it really well on racing.com before the day kicked off. He said, look, the summer sports haven't really kicked off. There's a gap there. Let's take advantage of it. I'm like, yeah, I completely agree with that, Matty Hill. Just not sure if that's the right sort of day for it, like back to Caulfield. I don't know. Rupert Clark, that's a stinky race. Like that. That's one that needs to be under the microscope. And so does the 1,000 Guineas as well, because like there's one filly in that race who's going to be good. And the rest can...
And it ain't the winner.
And it ain't the winner. And the rest can go do one, if I'm honest. Can you believe Licky Tongue was like $4 in that race?
No, she had the prep that never ended.
I didn't understand.
Never ending story.
Exactly. They interviewed James Cummings before the race. He's like, yeah, look, she's fitting well. Will she get the mile? Like, there was no level of certainty in the trainer's voice.
And I think J-Mac came out and said this thing can't run out the mile. What do the exceeding excels do? They typically sprinters?
Yeah, well, here's a few for you. Exceedance, bivouac,
heard of them.
Cylinder.
Heard of them.
Microphone. Just a few. Actually, microphone, exceedance, bivouac, all in the same crop. What the hell?
I tend to agree. Like, Aliana clearly didn't get around Caulfield. But
no, she did not.
But Mark Zara also didn't help her winning chances on Matisse.
Look,
basically, as soon as she started crabbing, he's like, I'm going to take that opportunity, bruh. And just went in about...
Mark went fully mock. He went so mock.
And me being on Matisse, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
She loomed up and then there was nothing left in the tank. I just don't think she's up to this gravy.
No.
Matisse.
Everything that could have possibly have gone wrong for Aliana, I feel, went wrong. She didn't get around Caulfield. She crabbed. When she finally started to balance up, Matisse was there. Like there was just so many things that went wrong. Like people came out and said J-Mac slaughtered that. It's like, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure if he had his time again, he would have had her dead last, so he could take it all the way out and wind her up. But how was he to know that Matisse was going to come in on him at that exact moment where she started to balance
exactly.
up?
racing.com raw times, the sectional data, that Group 1 was 18.5 lengths below standard.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
15 lengths below standard to the 800, nearly 5 lengths below standard to the H to the 4, and then they zoomed home.
She's gone super.
As well as she could have.
As well as she could have in the circumstances. I've had a couple of tough ones this spring.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of tough ones.
Yeah.
That was one. Amelia's Duel in the Empire Rose was one. Gringotts first up was one. I was convinced I was going to win that race.
He won his grand final, though.
He won his grand final, but it's $5.
You know, I think you were simultaneously wrong and right about Another Will at the same time.
How's that possible?
Well, I think if it's his grand final, he brains him. Like I think he's a really, really good horse, Another Will. But he also didn't win. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like he might even be a bit of a I don't know. He's sort of. I've looked back at all these other wins, and a lot of them have been in smaller fields, and he's sort of taken. He's been smothered up and taken gaps at the right time. I think he's a good horse. Another Will. Like, don't get me wrong. I never said he's a bad horse. I just don't get the boom on him. He had the perfect run, I think.
8 from 13 will probably give you a decent boom.
Yeah, exactly. 8 from 13, but you know, Mr. Brightside had a better record come through the grades. And then it just took him a while to... I think he can take the next step. I just don't think he's there. People saying he's top 5 horse in the country. They can fucking do one.
Well, they're fundamentally incorrect.
Fundamentally incorrect.
Yeah. I need to go back to that guy on TikTok, actually. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Look, if he was a top 5 horse in the country, he would have had panels on them yesterday in that race. I can see him getting his Group 1. I think it's going to be in a handicap race. I don't think it's going to be in a weight for age race. I don't think he's up to that yet. That could change. Absolutely.
Well, he's been up for 2.5 months. It's a long prep.
Yeah, it is a long prep.
Like, really long. So I think he's run super, all things considered. Have they learnt? I don't know what they've learnt with him.
Thing is with bro, you're never getting a good price. When has he been a good price?
Last start.
What price was that?
Well, he got out to $4 in essentially a 2-horse race.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I think like that's a price I was interested in. And yesterday, the market support gave me more confidence. I was frustrated with the winner though, because I was bullish on her in the Empire Rose.
Jumped off.
I thought she had this in her. She did, Kaimochi.
She did.
Craig Williams in the Rupert Clark can get one home. I think he's 7th winner in the race.
Yeah, it is.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. Handicap race. Dropped a lot of weight from the Empire Rose. Group 1 place multiple times. Like, not a result that shocked me, but the price was great. Going around like 20s and 30s, depending on who you pump with. Yeah, nah. I was on Jimmy Drifters, and he didn't even go around. It was a barrier trial. I'm not saying he would have won, but he didn't get a crack at winning.
You literally have no idea.
You literally have no idea.
Like,
but that's the risk when you back a horse who needs to wind up and he gets gate 1. It's a risk, and it's a risk I was willing to take, and it did not pay off at all. So yeah, that sucked. Yeah, Aliana was devastating. There's been a few times this spring where like I'm just convinced his horse has panels on them. I'm just convinced, and it's only paid off very few times. Like Switzerland paid off. I thought this would pay off. Like I was convinced she was going to win. Like I was so certain she was going to win. So I was on the floor for a while after that. Whereas Jimmy Starr, like Jimmy Starr losing is just like that's what you get for backing a horse like that in gate 1. So I can only be frustrated with myself.
Yeah.
I was on the floor with that, mate. Oh. And Kieran Ma with a filly that's not showing none, but it hasn't shown a lot at that price.
Oh, well, Aliana beat her by, 6 lengths in the carbine.
Yeah.
Like, that says it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you run this race 100 times, you get a different result in Aliana's favour, like 95 of them.
I reckon. Really hurt. Like, yeah, really, really hurt drifters. So just let me be a bit of a victim for a second. But this is what you get as well. Like she absolutely zoomed home. But I think unless she changes as she gets a bit older, she's going to be like Fangirl based on her track, based on her racing pattern. You know where she's going to be.
You can get away with it in the 3-year-old season because against her own sex more often than not, against the 3-year-olds, her brilliance can get her out of trouble. And that's why these horses have such good records. Then when they go up against open age company, they have to be top of the tree like Fangirl isn't anymore.
No.
They get found out.
Yeah, they do.
And that's why Mr. Brightside's so good.
Because he himself into the race.
Exactly. And that in the autumn, that's where he fell off a bit because he wouldn't jump the gates at all.
No. He doesn't. He's not going to have an electrifying turn of foot from the back of the field. He's a sprint home from the last couple of furlongs type operator.
Which is perfect, the way that our races are typically run.
Absolutely perfect. He's been the benefactor of a lot of that. So nothing against the horse. It's just he's what it is. He's taking advantage of it. But I'm looking forward to the clashes between Aliana, Lady Shenandoah and Autumn Glow in the autumn.
Hello.
They'll be fantastic. So we know that the middle distance ranks for the 3-year-old fillies are good. I think the boys are in trouble as it stands right now.
Yeah.
Lots of trouble.
There was...
We're only going to have Switzerland for another 6 months.
True. I think there was a really smart winner at Newcastle, though, who I'm bullish about. Schnitznova in the spring champion.
Schnitznova filly as well.
Is it? My apologies. Well, she can put her hand up as well.
That's another one. Another good
I
filly.
automatically, just being what I thought a son of Schnitzel. I thought how many geldings are going around for Schnitzel, but yeah, she was very impressive. I think that was only her 3rd career start. Absolutely tore them down, and I think a big track like Newcastle really suited her. So if she gets to Randwick, I think she will just absolutely eat that up. Yum yum. So looking forward to when the autumn features come out. Might be playing around her.
Yeah, no, she was a very smart winner. Bennett Bloodstock with those silks just can buy a good horse.
Good on him.
Absolutely. No, she was a smart winner. I tell you what, there's a couple of smarties. Newcastle, lucky the victim decided to punt in Newcastle a bit because had a fucking fill up. Because Caulfield wasn't kind to him. Or her, we don't know.
Them.
I'll tell you a story after this.
Sorry, can I indulge?
Yeah, of course.
You tell me if this is reasonable for futures markets, right? So the Max Lees Classic, race 1 at Newcastle, 900 metre, 2-year-old set weights and penalties contest.
Mate, I just saw the Eurong silks and I was like, I'll have a small bet of that.
Yeah. Well, I was on Buffalo. And, Buffalo is written by gelding, right? So you never really see geldings feature in like the Golden Slipper. But I was like, won its trial by 4.5 lengths, had 0 luck, and had to clip off heels. When it got in the clear, zoomed home for 3rd. I was like, all right, let me have a look, see what this thing's paying in Golden Slipper market with the good people at Ned's. It's a bit of a drive-by. 200 to 1, I'm like, getting on that. As I go to hit confirm, it halves to 100 to 1. I'm like, off that, in a 900 metre, what is this? 2-year-old open set weights penalties race at Newcastle.
Go.
100 to 1. Go on Slipper Markets.
Do you know why that's not fair? It's because there probably will be a horse who ends up in that field eventually. That probably is going to be 100 to 1. And that's actually confirmed in the field. We're so far away from that right now. It's not fair.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with that.
And let me say this is like, it will likely be half the price that it is with Neds at other bookmakers.
Yes.
So I'm on 100 to 1. So it's like, this horse I feel potentially, they freshen it up and go towards a Magic Millions or something.
Maybe.
You never know.
I think there's, tinfoil hat time, drifters. I think there's a bit of what's the word that I'm looking for? It's like an unwritten rule and like not a gentleman's agreement, but a gentleman's agreement that all the trainers have with each other, all the connections when it comes to the slipper. It's just like, no geldings are in this field. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's when a filly wins a slipper, you can probably hear a collective sigh from the entire connection cohort.
Mate, this year with Lady of Camelot
versus Stormboy, yeah.
And Gay Waterhouse, go Stormboy, go the filly.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just like.
So if that's the case with a filly who still has breeding prospects post a slipper win.
Yeah.
Imagine when a gelding wins. It hasn't happened for a while, I don't think.
I'm just looking through now. The last gelding to win was in 2009. Feeling ready. There you go. Nash's hot brother Brad in the saddle.
Brad Warilla.
Yeah.
Wowee. I thought Gobi Desert was tough. Leading. Didn't get run down. Little filly by Too Darn Hot out of a Hellet's hot mare. Pretty cool. I literally switched it on. I saw the you wrong thing in the mounting yard or behind the barriers, sorry. And I was like, 10 to 1. It's Chris Lees in the Max Lees Classic, like his dad. I was like, yeah, I'll have a tenner on that.
Yeah, that's how you get off to a good start. Then Harlow missed. Yeah, that was it. Easy win by her in the next.
Had to win that.
Yeah, we're not going to go through every single race here. But there was a bit, tell you what, good training performance by Waterhouse Bolt with Townsend. That horse, 12 months off, was decent first up. And then Rachel King, brilliant front-running ride. And absolutely brained him by 3.5 lengths over 1,800 metres. So,
yeah, put him to the sword.
Yeah, could be like a Group 3, Group 2 style, like middle distance horse in our ranks for the next season. But yeah, Schnitzer Nova. She was one of the highlights for me of the program there at Newcastle. You sent a cheeky little text to me that just going to back Briasa here, to be honest.
Yeah, well, what was she during the week? Like he during the week, like 260 or something like that?
Yeah. I think when we were doing the preview, I was like, oof, that's short.
And I looked at the race and he got out to about $3 and I was like, okay, who am I scared of here? I'm scared of Far Too Easy. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
Grand Final's already come
and gone. This horse has had a host of issues that you mentioned. And I was like, am I going to back Cold Crusher? No. And I was like, well, Brias is the one that a little bit untapped.
What about Private Eye, though? Sorry, mate. Let me tee this up for you.
I love punters. I love punters way more than I love bookies, except for the good people at Neds. But sometimes, and I fall victim to it. Like, I'm not better than anyone else when it comes to the punt. You know, despite the fact that I've been tagged a 4-man on this recently, I'm actually just a regular punter. But we fall victim to it sometimes. People just get caught up with, and it happened twice yesterday, caught up with racing against better grade, racing against better grade, racing against better grade. It's better than these. It's like, well, Well, no, not necessarily. Or because something's been running in better grade and might be for a long time, for multiple seasons, doesn't necessarily mean that it's just going to step back in grade slightly and put them to the sword. Like, what have you seen from this prep that would suggest that it's going to win this race at a price which isn't even, I don't think, that great? And I'm talking about Private Eye, obviously, here. Like, he started at $6.50. He has shown absolutely nothing this prep, in my opinion. Absolutely nothing. Before he got locked into the Everest, I said to you, I would have been shocked if he got picked up for the Everest.
Yep.
And it was only because things were dropping like flies that he got picked up. He's shown absolutely nothing. He had to carry 60 kilos here. Find out 2 minutes before the race that Joe Pride's been putting him over the jumps to try and stimulate him. Alarm bells? Like, are you kidding me? People saying that, $6.57 is a ridiculous price for a horse like this. It's like, well, it would have been 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's not 2 years ago. And the other horse is Coleman. Like, yeah, running in superior grade and gets back to a Group 3 against, things that apparently their rating points were 30 points less than his. But clearly bro's over the top.
Yeah.
Clearly. So I just don't understand the kick up sometimes for horses where you're trying to find, it's just got panels on these because it's been racing in better grade. It's like, well, a lot of the time in Group 1s and Group 2s, you only really want to take probably the first 3 out of it anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. Like, it starts to drop off pretty significantly. I do not understand the big kick up for Private Eye at all.
I think there has to be conversation or talks had about his future. Surely, bro, what does bro owe anyone?
Absolutely nothing.
Give him a nice paddock to just chomp down on. In the stewards report, this will make you laugh and possibly angry because you've been a bit cantankerous of late. Jay Ford stated that he hoped to be able to ride Private Eye positively. However, his primary instruction was to have the horse travelling where comfortable. He said Private Eye did not show any speed from the barriers, which required him to race with cover at the rear of the field. He said that gelding took some time to respond to his riding and closed off well over the final 200, which he did, giving the impression that he's now looking for a longer distance. Like, Chris Waller is the worst offender of this, in my opinion, is because he has too many horses, right? I'm thinking of your Kovalikas, your Egg Tarts, of Shared Ambition. He tries to turn these stayers into a middle distance horse where it's like targeted at these mile races. But Private Eye and Joe Pride, I feel like they've bottled this horse in more ways than one. That might be a bit of a overreaction because he's won a Russell Balding and he's also won a spring stakes or something over 1,000 or 1,100 meters or something. But he also won an Epsom, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just think he would have been competitive with the likes of Mr. Brightside for the last 2 to 3 seasons if he was targeted at those mile races.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's a definition of a 1,400 metre horse for me, I think. I was actually thinking about this yesterday and question without notice. Like, what's your least favourite distance to punt on?
955s at the Valley? I don't know. I feel like I get more confidence in like the staying contest, I feel, because there is just so much dross in there. I can put a line through 3/4 of the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably my favourite. And then I find if I was to have a look at my tracking thing, I feel like the sprints might be a bit more difficult for me.
Yeah. I can't stand 1,400 metre races. And I don't, and the only one, and that's probably for a number of reasons, but the only one that I can actually get around and look forward to is probably Stradbroke handicap.
And you're self-proclaimed. You have a dog shit record.
Yeah,
in the race.
but I love the race.
Absolutely.
Can't find a winner in it. But I think because there's so many Group 1s that I don't think should be Group 1s that are over 1,400 metres. Yep. And I also think they're hard to map for me because like Caulfield, you've got the chute. Flemington, I feel like 1400 metre races at Flemington, it's like if you can't land in the first third, you're gone.
And the barrier draw there is so important.
So important. And then Rose Hill and Randwick, like to a lesser degree, but probably because they're not front of mind at the moment because I'm not in the autumn. But yeah, I find them just a bit gross. And also to add to the complexity, I think there's horses that are really good 1400 metre horses who aren't quite sprinters, who aren't quite milers, like a Tofane or a Zugotcha or something like that. I think Private Eye is one of them, and it frustrates me even more though because if he was targeted at them specifically, he'd have more. He's only won one Group 1, and you're like, really, what? He's a better horse than that. It's like, well, is he? If he was aimed at those sort of type of races, probably would be. Like, yeah, anyway, don't get me started. I just think it really grinds my gears when people are like shocked that a horse fails, and it's like, well, there's been absolutely nothing this prep that suggests that it should have gone better.
His best run in the prep was the Everest.
Yeah.
But it was a bunch finish. He was beaten into 6th by 1.5 lengths in the worst rating Everest of all time. And what I said to you, he can get away with a run like that, and it might be like a Fugazi type of effect where you're kind of tricked by what you see, but it's also the worst bunch of sprinters that we've had in the post-Black Caviar era.
Absolutely. And Bellini Patina won that race 3 wide, no cover.
Exactly. In a sprint worth that money, that shouldn't be the case.
No, it shouldn't be.
And the form out of it is quite frankly like dubious because Giga Kick failed. Sunshine in Paris, sure, back on a dry track, but it was more J-Max performance than her performance.
Growing Empire and Lady of Camelot, who ran 3-4, couldn't even win a Coolmore against her own sex. They got beaten by Bellatrix Star.
Yeah.
What price would she have been in an Everest?
Yeah.
But Briasa, I thought that was a good win.
It was a great win.
People get carried away though. She only he. Sorry, I'm going to keep doing that with this horse. Don't know why. It's just one of those horses.
Yeah.
Only had 53 kilos. A lot of these on the other side of their prep. Even though I backed it, I think, definitely deserves to be, aiming for the big boy races in the autumn.
Stradbroke.
I think it could be a horse like that. But 4-year-old gelding still got plenty of development to come. So, yeah, pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But don't get too carried away.
I think what improved the performance, I think, was, quite frankly, the dubious ride, where it was 3 wide, no cover. And I think Richo said in the post-race, going like, I think Tyler Schiller's got away with one there. That was, quite frankly, a disgusting ride. It's like, well...
It was a bad ride.
Like, still won. I think it's like... But again, it kind of shines a light on our sprinting ranks as well. It's like Felix Majestic and Coal Crusher. They're quick out of the gates, but they're not like an Eduardo. You know what I mean?
They're not Eduardo.
Like, they're not like absolutely banging out. Chrysaor has some talent. I think he's a big track horse, Chrysaor. And with the amount of pop-up races, he'll find another race, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he ran on well. But yeah, and hindsight's 2020, right? Royal Merchant, my on top selection, ran absolutely dog shit. So, I thought she showed something, but tell you what, I was looking at the Beaufort, the 2300 metre contest, right? We said Herman's name on the podcast.
Yes, I had a bet on Herman.
I had a bet on Naval College, and he should have won by 2 lengths. That was disgusting stuff. Oh, that was a hard watch.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Yeah, I can imagine it would have been. Herman would have been nice at about 10 to 1 when I got on.
Yeah.
But, alas.
Yeah. Tell you what, inhibitions in the last was the difference between like a like a mediocre day or a fine day and a great day for yours truly. Kieran gave this horse every possible chance.
Every possible chance. I was on the winner, but I didn't get on at $2.60. I got on at like $3.50 early on in the day.
Bang.
Got absolutely jammed in.
Congratulations, mate.
Oh, but it was the plunge. It was like, without scratchings, and it was first emergency. It was like $11 when markets opened. So I didn't get a good price. A lot of other people did. But yeah, I thought Inhibitions was going to win the race for sure. Loomed up. Godolphin's due for a big winner, aren't they? I'm not saying that Inhibitions would have been a big winner.
5 diamonds, mate.
Pericles, true. You know what I mean, though? They're due for a good horse.
Yeah, they are. They're typically around the mark with 2-year-olds. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. By this time next year, we could be talking about, they've got broadsiding, so, and I think he's a very good horse. But
the shine's come off him, though.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
Let me actually get up their stable, right? Racing Australia, Godolphin. We're not going to go through every single runner. But, all right. Talk amongst yourselves here for a sec.
I'm just going back to Caulfield and just going through it. There were some results, wasn't there? Gee whiz.
Yeah, well, if we look at the actual sectional data from the Group 1, right? Sorry, this podcast is all over the shop, but the Rupert Clark, I think it will rate okay. I think the wind obviously played around with the times
absolutely.
a bit. So on raw times, Komochi would have beaten the Pisces field, the Coleman field, by 11 and a bit lengths, and they would have beaten the Regal Vow benchmark 84 field by a tick over 14 lengths.
Right, okay.
So it's I think they've run decent time.
So going back to the Rupert Clark then, okay. So out of this race though, what are we trying to find out of this race that we'll do something after this. Komochi, we know where she's at. She had the ability to jag a race like this. You said that. She's only got 52.5 kilos. I think another will, absolutely. I think he can improve, and I think he can get to that weight for age, but I haven't seen that yet from him.
Jimmy
had no chance. So
Jimmy in a Memsey or the All.
Yeah, something like that.
And he'll kick off a bit earlier.
I think he should be. I think they should save him and aim him towards a Stradbroke.
Yeah,
that's what I think they should do with Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because I think he's a handicap 1400 metre horse at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Sapati was great. Only had 52 kilos though. The horse I want to take out of it heading towards WA Carnival is the old boy, number 3, Tuvalu.
He was good.
I thought he'd run well. Lugging 57 kilos from gate 14. I thought he ran super. Heading over to WA, I'm not saying that he's a Group 1 stalwart, but he's got a bit of quality about him. But aside from that, there's probably not much else out of the race that really interests me. You know what I mean?
I think it's a fair assessment. Tell you what, talking about WA. Now, it was only a benchmark 66. But this Joker's grin.
That was some win, wasn't it?
Holy shit. This thing, I don't know what it is about Ascot, but I feel like they run the quickest last 100 metres in Australia. They absolutely zoom to the post every single time.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know what it is over there. Maybe it's just, I don't know. But yeah, this thing, holy smokes. I could see this horse coming over to Moonee Valley for a Moya Stakes or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it'll be purchased for an Everest.
I'd be shocked if they did that because he's only run over the 1,000
Well,
metres.
there's history.
Yeah, where are they now actually bustling? Did you see that stable has moved to New South Wales from Victoria? Pross Kent?
I think they've just got an additional stable.
If you look at Twitter, they've said we are now based in Sydney.
You're kidding?
No. Maybe I've got that wrong. But that's the way it read to me.
Oh, I thought they just opened up a like a satellite stable in Sydney.
Right. Okay.
So they're in Cranbourne. Cranbourne's like where you want to be.
Or maybe it's New South Wales. I'm looking through Godolphin horses right now.
Nothing really standing out.
No, nothing. There's a horse here by the name of Crocodile, which I'm interested in. I'm assuming it's a 2-year-old. 2-year-old colt by Gayarth and Monogram.
Crocodile. I like that. Let's keep an eye out for him. Yeah, well, okay. So we've got the Group 1s next week in Ascot, don't we? Railway Stakes next week. So you have a $5 favourite with futures markets with Neds.
Oh, my God.
Light Infantry Man. And then we go down. We've got Belclair at 7s. Zip Away at 7s. Democracy Manifest at 8s. Super Smink at 8s. Sox Nation 10s. Bustler, last year's winner, at 15s. Like I've got a soft spot for Perth because like all East Coast punters, we have a soft spot for Ascot because, you know, get out of jail sometimes. Pikey.
He was on a tear yesterday.
He was on a tear yesterday, Pikey.
That ride he gave that thing.
Storyville?
Chef's kiss.
He's got that in him, Pikey.
Yeah. He knows every blade of grass.
Every individual blade of grass on that track. But look, let's be really honest with each other here.
Sure.
If there's a Group 1 with Light Infantry Man in it as a $5 favourite, do you think it deserves to have Group 1 status?
Probably not, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. We need to have a serious conversation about this sort of stuff.
Yeah. I think the Kingston Town should remain.
1,800 metres.
Yeah, it's something different.
It is something
I
different.
like it. And all these will be backing up in that anyway.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So it's like the Winterbottom, without question, needs to be downgraded.
Without question.
Like, some very good horses have won that Kingston Town. Arcadia Queen, Millie's Jewel, others.
Yeah. Others come to mind.
Western Empire?
Western Empire, I think, won it, yeah. Or did he just win the Railway? And then I think he came second.
Yeah. And the stablemate knocked him off at an enormous price.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe Regal Power won a Railway?
Yep, I think so.
So, and they're East Coast proven performers in some capacity.
In some capacity.
Like Regal Power won at All-Star Mile.
Yeah. Yep. We just need to be really honest with each other here, drifters. There's not one iota of my being that is looking forward to just discussing and watching this race.
I have enjoyed, you know what I do enjoy about Ascot racing is the form is actually pretty easy to do over there because like that 3-year-old fillies race, I was looking through, every single one of them went against each other last start of note, right? There might have been 3 down the bottom that come from midweek grade. I was looking at him. It's like, oh, this one came 6th. Oh, this one came 7th. I watched the replay 10 times just watching those individual horses. It was so easy. Still didn't find the winner.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is good because it's its own like microcosm, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, God, I'm
1.5 million. The railways were
$1.5 million.
822,000 for first place.
What? You're kidding. That's actually ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to get the Perth Prince on the line to help us out here. But like Democracy Manifest is $8 in this field. Yeah, you might be onto something.
Succulent Chinese meals.
I'll be team locals, as in Perth Prince, like horses. You're typically East Coasters.
Yeah, I know nothing about the West Coast horses.
Yeah.
No, nothing. Absolutely nothing about them. But absolutely dross record in Perth, that's for sure. Just don't. I'm being honest, drifters. I don't keep a close eye on it at all. I'm not one of those guys who backs Pikey after a big day punting on the East Coast and just has a crack. I'm not that guy. I'm done. I'm done by then.
Yeah, I've run out of puff typically by that stage.
Yeah, I've already won my fortunes. I don't need to risk it.
Yeah. What are you really gambling with?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Responsibly.
So that's one of the key races that we're going to be looking at next week. But we also have the Gong, Declan, at 1,600 metres as well.
God.
Gringotts is the 3-year-old 30 favourite there. Territory Express, NCAP, Freedom Rally, Detonated Jack, Heat of Shock, St. Lawrence, who's in a rich vein of form.
Yeah, look, default pick for me. He should have won an Epsom.
Yeah.
Gringotts.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Just call a spade a spade. It's what I think. You can't really do it for WA Carnival, I don't think. Oh, why am I being so negative? You definitely could. I'm just thinking of like combining all of them so they're all on one day. It's what Adelaide should do. It's what WA should do.
Mm-hmm.
The point against that, though, is like when I was watching that, what was it called? Joker's Grin win. The amount of people there, they turn up to the races in WA. Most likely because they have nothing else to do over there. But yeah, just put all the good races on one day. Make it a super Saturday. I'd probably watch that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, totally agree.
Because there was one good day of the Adelaide Carnival, and then it just dragged on for too many bloody weeks.
It did.
So it's like, I would just rather them combine the railway and the Kingston town into one Group 1. You get a better field off the back of it. You probably have some more East Coast horses come over for it. Make it a true contest,
I completely agree. But that's just,
Less is more.
Yeah, that's just our opinion.
Anyway, we've been dragging on for far too long.
Yeah.
But
you can tell, drifters, we're running out of puff.
But yeah, horses I want to take out of the meeting, I guess, that's Schnitzernova and Buffalo heading towards a Golden Slipper as a gelding. I'll be Team Buff. That would be so rude.
That'd be so rude. And be so funny if a gelding won this slipper. Yeah. Look, I'm still peeling myself off the floor. Drifters. It was just one of those days for me where things just didn't go my way. But I've got a lot of time for Aliana. I just think when it's against the big dogs, Slady Shenandoah and Autumn Glow, all three from the same stable, it'll be fascinating viewing.
Yeah. All said.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll see you Wednesday.
See yous.